sad times in my head. That's a few things come up and just let go.
Change my life, change the way I think, change my life.
Been very emotional.
Welcome back to the Polaris podcast. Happy 2024 to everyone. Welcome. Here we are.
Welcome.
This is the first podcast back. We're excited. We've got a big year planned. Had a big Christmas break, I'd say.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it doesn't really feel like a Chrissy break, but to them it seems like we've had a big Chrissy break
Yeah.
because we haven't been here.
No, we haven't.
As you can see, new studio.
New setup.
New setup.
Screens. You got new tables. We got fucking black paintings.
Yeah. Look,
Bookshelves.
if this fails, I can become a painter. What do you reckon? Pay $20 for it.
Well, you can probably see some.
But no, as you can see, it's a bit more of an interactive set, which is cool. So yeah, it allows us to have more content for, on socials and stuff like that, since we've got like the face-to-face cameras happening.
Yeah.
And plus we can also, get people into the studio, which we had a business hired out for 7 hours today and pumped heaps of pods out today. So it's been good. As you can see, the TV as well. Eventually we'll train Maxi up to become interactive on the TV, so you can become our Jamie like Joe Rogan. And if we have any thing you need to pull up, we can start to interact with the TV and go through it there. So, but yeah, ready to go, mate.
Unreal. All right. Well, let's catch up with everyone since this is probably the first time all three of us have actually been in a room.
Probably, yeah.
Fucking
wow.
Yeah. Well, someone's busy, aren't they?
We are. All of us.
Aren't you?
I'm a little bit busy at the moment. I guess I'll start.
Go for
with
it.
what I've been up to. Finish off the run, and then been pretty much spending the last month.
You claps at the back.
Go
You go, Tally.
But yeah, pretty much. Wow, guys, we've lost.
I was being serious. I'm very proud of it.
We'll be serious.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, boss.
But yeah, no, just been pretty much recovering. So I went back to concreting. I said I wasn't, but
Yep.
it's I've got a heap of freedom there. I can leave and come and go when I need to.
Yep.
Making a bit more money, which is good.
Yep.
Other than that, it's pretty much just starting to train a lot more now, getting prepared for next year, which I'm not going to let anyone know what's going on yet.
Beautiful.
But yeah, other than that, just with pretty much going into a new space. Which I'll
say at the end.
Say it at the end.
Bit of viewer retention. Stay to the end to hear about what's going on.
Yeah, so
Which you probably would have already heard it,
people,
but
who
who knows when this potty comes out.
But we do have a lot of people that listen, so
Well, it's more than just our mums, how it started.
It is now.
You used to get messages being like,
Every week I
we
get
used to
a
love,
message from
mate, your podcast is so good, son. It's just like, is it just you? Is that it? So just Tahi and I talking shit
Mum
for
just,
an hour?
I'll get messages from mum. She's like, you shouldn't speak like this. The kids listen. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
kids shouldn't be listening.
We do have a bit of a swearing problem. And by we, I mean me. But
I've actually made a little vow to myself to try and stop swearing as much.
good.
And
Sorry.
Good.
Yeah, man.
laugh at me again, dog. I was about to swear then. I was like,
Don't.
no, but I catch myself now, just trying to be a bit more aware, I guess. I know we're starting to get a little bit more professional here now, so I had to get rid of that concreter mentality, and
About time.
it is about time, to be honest.
It's only been 2 years.
bit more than
3 years, isn't it? Fuck, 3 years.
But yeah, other than that, just the normal shit that I get up to, just
Nice.
cruising and working, doing the stupid routines that I do. So
Yep. Yeah. The fucking Goggins routines.
it's just
Hey, as long as it works for you, mate, fucking do whatever you want.
the more stuff I do, the more uncomfortable things I do,
Yep.
I'll become comfortable.
100%.
So just keep testing myself.
100%.
He's definitely carrying the logs.
You are?
He's definitely going to be carrying the logs.
Oh, 100%. Who's going to carry the boats?
I actually had a girl say to me, she goes, you're actually here, mate. And I was like, that is honestly the best compliment I've ever had. Not even joking. I was like, that's so good.
You don't know me, son. That's you.
But yeah, that's enough of me.
Sweet.
How you been? What's been going on?
Good, bro. Good. Yeah. Apologies for the delay of getting the podcast back. I thought, as always, it wouldn't take as long as what it did, and it's just sort of one step back after another, which doesn't look like it. It's not like we did heaps, but these fucking
Kinda
overhead
did,
lighting took a little bit. But we're back, so that's good. So, what have I been doing? I've actually started to get a bit more time outside of the business now, which is good. So been spending a bit of time away, which has been really good. Spend time with the kids and the fam. What else? That's about it, mate. And then just launching the shift, which starts next week. So
moved out of the sanctuary.
Yeah. So Lauren moved on from the sanctuary. We just had a pretty big discussion over the Chrissy break, and just started to realize it was just not the right time to be within a brick and mortar business like that. And she was really focused on getting back into her birthing work. So yeah, moved back from that, and then she's absolutely fucking killing a birthing business. Actually, she just falls on her feet. Yeah, well,
that woman. If she ever does listen to this podcast,
she owes us like $600
you
in
owe us
renting.
money for using our space
And cookies.
And fucking and eating all our food.
We won't forget.
I won't.
But yeah, she's done that. She's done really, really well getting back into that. So it's been a big weight off the shoulders too. You don't really realize until you transition from it. So transition from that. What else? Moved out of home, back to the in-laws, and then moving back into a new home in 3 weeks, which is going to be sick. Fucking saltwater pool. And
when do you move in?
3 weeks.
I'm pretty busy.
Wouldn't expect anything less. I reckon he helped me for an hour.
He rang me when he was moving, and I just said to him, I was like, it was because of Christmas break. He's like, I'm just going to be moving. And I was like, bro, I'm telling you right now, I ain't answering my phone.
Hang on. Let me just clear up something. It's not because of the Christmas break that you didn't help me. You wouldn't have helped me if it was in the middle of fucking May.
Think of all the things I've done with you. Building a sanctuary.
Building the sanctuary.
The room.
Yeah.
That was
a room.
And I was sick.
Yeah, you were.
That
you
was
did have
pretty
mud
fucked.
butt. You did have mud butt.
We weren't very good at that, but that was bad. We were both pretty sick that week.
Yeah, did I have tap ass?
You had it after me, remember?
Yeah. That's right.
Because we were meant to go away, and I was like, no, we're going. I was just like, sitting on the toilet, we're going, bro.
Wasn't that a hassle? So done that, moved out of home, launching the shift. A few other things we'll speak about at the end. We won't say that now, which is very, very fucking exciting. Very proud of you for getting that for us. And pretty much it's just been, I was saying to Maxwell, we went up and got some dinner just before. It's like just being so deep in a launch. It doesn't sound like it's much work, but it's a lot more stressful than actually like normal business. So yeah, I'm proud of the amount of people that we've got into the shift, but it's going to be nice to get out of a launch and come back to, get back to finishing that book and, get back into the normal proceedings of things. So, mate, mental's good, feeling good. A few big guests lined up for us as well for the potty. We got a few big ones.
Won't say any.
I won't say who. We could actually...
Even though we spent the last of last year saying, we've got guests coming on.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? Us again. No, but one of them, we can say this though. One of them that will come onto the potty once he's back. He just, he flew out today to be the personal bodyguard for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, buddy.
So he flew out to Japan today. So once he's back, he'll be sitting right there, probably take up the whole TV. He's that big, but he'll be in. But yeah, we got some really cool podcast guests where Tahi and I were speaking about it. We want to get a really nice blend of like people that, obviously want to be here, but people that do have charismas and really want to show themselves in this space. We want to hear about people's stories as well, but then we also want to get on people that are deep within like the research base and the academic base and everything else. So we put up a popular post probably a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a doctor that's actually Australian that's over in the US that has been doing a lot of research around how SSRIs, which are antidepressants, pretty much give the exact same effect as what placebos do. So it'll be really interesting to get him on. We'll get him on via probably a Zoom call, I would say, obviously, because we're not going to the US or...
Well...
Maybe. But yeah, we'll get him on. So just people that, are in that research base, just it's objective, isn't it, Maxi? Objective, yeah. So we're getting some objective content happening, which is going to be really cool. But yeah, I'm traveling well. What about you, mate? How are you traveling?
Myself?
No, Casper behind you.
Oh.
You, brother?
I'm pretty bloody white.
Yeah, no one's behind you, bro.
Hello. Good to see you again.
Hello.
For new things is really taking this new year as a pretty much a launch forward with everything. As you can see, I'm growing the mow a little bit thicker.
It's fucking handlebars.
Yeah,
tell you that. If you grew your mow out, do you reckon you could get like that? No way. Eh?
My mo looks like my eyebrows come down for a drink. Telling you, I ain't going nowhere near that.
Luckily, you got a big. Nah, we're into that. So traveling well.
Yeah, traveling very well. So, yeah, work's been pretty good. You know, just kind of settling in. You know, had to work over the Christmas break. Had to go back on Boxing Day. That was a bit of a debacle.
Yeah.
I got the boundary key, so I had to walk bloody 3Ks from the gate to the office and open it up. That's all right. Things happen.
Didn't you drop your phone in mud too, and you couldn't nearly lost it?
Oh, that was a debate. Yeah,
I remember that.
I was shifting a pump, just putting it into a bit more water, cold water, so you couldn't see anything on night shift. And had it in my top pocket, and as I sort of chucked
That's
the
what they
head.
say, don't put them in the top pocket.
I always say that, but yeah, I said I'll chuck that.
Do they
chuck
actually
the
say
head.
that?
They do.
Do
swear to
they?
God.
I don't know. I'm not on site. I'm not a
No.
hard-working man.
Well, yeah, I tried my best. So I had it in there. You know, I had my two-way on here too, so I thought everything was secure. And as I was throwing the head of the pump into the water, it's sort of the pipe behind it was full of water, so there was a lot of weight behind it. It pretty much just snagged it back. It's hit the water, splashed up at me. I'm covered in like cold water, so it's black, awful, stinks. I'm just soaked, and it was bad. Then I'm like, I've gone back to the car. I'm like, I'm over this. I'm just gonna go back up top, get myself dried off. And I'm like, oh shit. And I've got everything on my phone, as most people do. You have everything on your phone, and I'm there rattling through my head, going, oh my god, I'm gonna have to like call the bank and have to call this.
Because even now we don't even really have our wallets anymore. Like
I've
it's
not
just
had a
all on
wallet
phone.
in like 4
Yeah,
years.
yeah. We went down to the dentist started last week, and Lauren's like, "Oh, you got the Medicare cards?" I'm like, I don't even know what my wallet is. Never learned Medicare cards.
I found my wallet the other day and I opened it and there's one card in it. I was just like, there was $20 in it too. So I was like, this is
Hey, that's a win.
It's all right.
That's a win.
So I was there searching for about half an hour. I'm giving up. I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, I'm giving up. I put my head against the light vehicle. I'm like, God. Taking a deep breath. And I'm like, fuck, you know what, mate? Just, you don't give up. It's all right. Sat back in the cab and I was like, something, the universe, I reckon, said, mate, one more look. Just get out there, one more look. Going to the edge of the water, just took the gloves off and said, no, I'm going to do a bear. I'm just going raw dog right in the water here. And so I've gone, just hands down, felt this smooth ass rock, boom, phone. I'm like, no fucking way.
Yeah, right.
Well, the whole screen's covered in bloody water. And I'm thinking, oh no, my phone's going to die. I'm going to have to chuck it in rice. And, you know, get someone to fix it, whatever else. No, well, new iPhones are water resistant, right?
True.
So, boom, she's still working. I did a little bit of cleanup. Yeah, gave her some TLC.
You probably put in that much water. Yeah.
It's up to a metre or something.
You know the rice trick works.
No.
I've seen it work once. I don't know if it works, you know.
So you reckon if I sat in a bowl of rice,
Don't go down this path, bro. Don't go down this path. We're only 15 minutes back in.
I've got too many jokes for that, mate.
I don't know, that's why I knew it.
Oh,
You do.
but funny thing about that story that you were telling me. So you told me that while you were messaging me, and he said to me, he was like, "Oh, fucking, I've lost my phone at." Sorry for phone.
I don't know why I said that to you. I heard the word and I was like, oh.
I've lost my phone at work. Like, you know, I can't do anything at work, and like I've lost it in a pit. And in my head, I'm like, "How are you messaging me?" And I sat there for like 5 minutes. I'm like, "Oh, maybe he's got a work phone." I'm like, "Nah."
I do. Yeah.
Well, there you go. But I don't know if you'll be able to message people off it like that. But
I lost that too one time. I actually fell down a blast hole, so it was gone. But other than that, guys, everything's been going really smooth. I'm training. I'm about 7 weeks out of Pro Rule now. So for that's a competition.
is that 4Pete? Or is
No,
that
this
different
is the second time I've competed at Pro Raw. This is like the invitational only. We've got some pretty decent lifters going to go down there. So a couple of international guys and got a bit of prize money up for grabs, which would be good. One of the blokes that I've sort of got a bit of a man crush on, thick boy Mitch Lee. He's shredded down from the 125s into my weight class. So we're kind of neck and neck a bit for the squat. Deadlifts are kind of on par, but his bench is bloody.
Can you actually lift any more than what you lifted? Like, is it possible?
100%.
That's a lot of weight, man.
Yeah, man. Well, like I say, like if I didn't pop my quad on my first squat at nationals, I was going for 400. Yeah, had that little bit of a tear. Shit happens. But other than that, mate, trained for that. What else is going on?
I feel like you're missing something.
I feel like I'm missing something.
What's
Pretty
come-
integral.
What's come into your life?
Yeah,
What's
pretty
coming in my
integral.
life? Well, like, I'm, after a shit ton of soul searching and deep into work and all that sort of stuff, but being okay being alone, I've had a pretty incredible person coming in my life. Yeah. Thanks, boy.
Yeah, baby.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, funny.
Yep.
Funny when you actually put yourself
I know what it feels
first. You think it's selfish.
Sorry, I'm heaps tired. I'm overtired. I'm just saying.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. That's not funny. But it is. But you know what I mean? Oh, fuck.
Her name's Taylor, and she's
Yep, shout out Taylor.
fucking amazing.
Yeah, I met her the other day. She's a really, really nice girl. So,
He did say that.
yeah.
You did. Well, you'll meet her tomorrow anyway.
Oh, she's coming.
Yeah, she's coming. Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Also,
So yeah, I'm
my
that
love of my life as well.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, Jack, you coming?
I'm there. I'm there where you go, baby.
right it up,
I'm
baby.
where you go. Dancing in the Hamptons. Anyway.
Shit. Yeah, and that. Yeah, so things have been going pretty well.
That's good.
Good, bro.
Good 2024. Got some big goals planned, and I'm
Fuck
ready,
yeah.
ready to rip in. Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely go through them, everyone. And as the podcast go on this year, you'll kind of go. We'll check off all the goals. How about that?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Commitment from here on. I've got to get me goals.
Yep, 100%. Yep. So, yeah, so like we said at the start, it's like we want to start incorporating, especially into our own podcast where we're here by ourselves, to go down the path of like speaking our mind about something that we do implement, but while also having some backing from what we're saying as well. So it's all well and good for us to sit here and be like, we love breathwork, breathwork's sick, it's fucking amazing in our life, which it is. But if we have some backing for you guys to make up your own mind around it, I think that'll help out a lot more. So before we get into this, I want to hear from both of you boys. Mm-hmm. What we're going to go through today is the last piece that we offer at Reconnections, the breathwork that we go through at the end. Correct term for it is intentional hyperventilation. I know that sounds a bit out there. Purpose of this type of breath that we offer is to give someone the space to be able to relive a certain trauma, which we'll go through in a second on how it works. But this type of breath, intentionally hyperventilating the system, increasing the amount of CO2 that's within the body to be able to drop into the unconscious mind, so therefore start reliving traumas. And people might start to say, well, why would you want to relive? This bit of research that we have in front of us gives you the prime exact reason. So cool. I guess from before we get into it, like, well, actually all three of us have seen it now. Maybe even before we get into our own personal stuff, maybe it's pretty cool to give like, I guess like the biggest takeaways that you've seen from like actually facilitating these breathworks. I've
had so many different stuff because like you were saying, it's like trauma stuff, like you face your traumas, but I didn't want to speak about my experience first, but you can see people who have those different, like you'll see people laugh.
Yeah.
So they might go through a bit of a trauma, but then I've had other people who come through and they don't really face a trauma. It's more just like getting clarity from something or going through something that makes them happy. Like there's so many different other emotions you get through it. But the biggest ones I've got is how much people release through their body.
Yep.
And like how uncontrollably they move and then come out of it and not know what's going on. And I think the biggest one that really got me was a guy we had, and when he crawled across the floor.
Yeah,
at
the old space.
Yeah, the old space.
Yeah.
I think that was just so cool to watch, just because it was very quiet throughout the whole day. And then just what he released was just powerful. Like just watching another man go through, because we've been through it, to see that he's finally letting go of everything. And like letting go of those, like out of his body, out of his mind, and facing it. You can just see the growth straight away. Yeah, I think that was probably the biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
But yeah, then coming into my own life is just the same. Like it's just, I've used it for traumas. I've used it for everything that's pretty much going on in my life. I've used that breath to visualize me completing the run.
Yep.
I've used it for so many different scenarios in my life. That's helped me massively.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Yeah, I will preface as well, it's not necessarily that it has to be just for traumas, but I'll go through here in a second, but it's about, dropping yourself into a space to be able to, you can call it energy, right? Like any type of energy. It could be sadness, happiness, grief, loneliness, whatever it might be. To be able to come through the surface. And I don't know about you boys, but speaking from personal point of view, like I felt like for me, first couple of times that I did it, it was like I was reliving watching it in front of me, and then a blend of like then really feeling into what I was seeing and then being able to release it in whatever way that was. But what about you, Maxie? What about what was your biggest takeaways when you started facilitating? Because you obviously went through it with yourself and you had some pretty big personal things that come through, especially when you haven't done it before. And then I guess the first point would be, what do you reckon your biggest takeaways have been from actually facilitating it?
Well, that's the question. Like, do you want me to share the personal? Or
Go facilitating first.
Okay, facilitating it on the other end was like a pretty big sort of it was a big change. Obviously, you know what you go through, so you kind of put yourself. Like, I can empathise because you're like, I've done this. I know what you're going through. You're finding some pretty deep shit. Watching, like you say, Tay, watching people go through some involuntary movements is confronting at first, but you kind of get rewarded in that they're really releasing whatever energy that was at that deep level, and things that were pretty much ignored for however long in their life. I remember watching, I don't want to say no, but ripping his shirt open.
Julio,
yeah,
what a man.
Yeah, ripping his shirt open to see him like Tommy doing flips around. You've definitely talked about blokes taking swings, and hitting the ground, but the biggest one I've seen is like facilitating and watching them like kind of go through it is when you're in that sort of state, like that DMT state, like we like to describe, in that different sort of realm, a different sort of consciousness. Sort of the reality that you have in like what you view when you're awake. It's not the same. Like when you watch people connect at that different level, you're like, they're going through their own shit. But you'll watch, I remember watching, two blokes holding hands and in sync, both laughing, crying, yelling. Or even when they're still, I think we did one of the connections and it was 6 people deep, all going through the same emotions, and they're going back and forth, all the way through it. Like there's different releases. It kind of shows that there's definitely some absolute like sort of higher source element there. I don't know. I can't describe it. I'm not sure. I don't know. Haven't done that sort of research.
In this research,
I'm actually keen to hear that. Yeah. So it's that was really sort of eye opening in that at that deeper realm in this different sort of conscious state. Yeah. We're all connected in some way, which then I can go on fucking ages about quantum physics and shit that I did at uni to explain that sort of stuff that we can see it out in the universe, and yet it still happens within us and what we can see here. Like within ourselves. So obviously, whatever forces are at bay. I've forgotten now. I think too many piss ups have ruined some of that education, but it's whatever's at play here is just so deeply entrenched in this universe. It's like it's incredible. It's really incredible to kind of see a physical manifestation of something you cannot comprehend. If that makes sense. I'll probably just confuse all listeners, but it's just something
it'll get clear.
Something you probably just need to experience yourself in person. For one, receiving it. And then 2, if you're fortunate enough to become a facilitator, see it too objectively.
I was just thinking as you were going. There's probably 2 other experiences that I've facilitated. And the first one was the first one I ever did. So like coming out for like knowing what it's like for myself and then seeing it for the very first time. It was just such a different experience because the group that we had for my first time was like they just finished. Some of them just finished the shift. Some of them was their first ever time doing something like this. And there was one guy who came through and his ego was so like high at the start. He's just like, first thing he said was like, this is a cult. And then I was like, and then throughout the day, like whenever we did an activity though, he was the one that always just took it by lead.
Okay.
And he would like, but he would still like not talk shit, but he would just be like, he's talking shit.
It was talking shit. Yeah.
He'd just be going on and just being like, this doesn't work or whatever. But then once we started an activity, he would lead, and he would just like go like all in for it.
Yeah.
And then the last breath bit when he went for it, and like you will see it in some of the videos we posted, he just rolls over for like a good few minutes and just punches the concrete ground for ages. And then when we come out of the whole breath, he stands up and he sees us and he's just like, had this huge smile on his face and he's like, I am love. Because it's like the first time he's actually felt unconditional love towards himself or towards others probably. And then he just embraced both of us. And I was just like, holy shit. Like to see him transfer, because it was a 2-day one. Yeah. So to see him transfer from like being like someone who's so deep in their ego to then like find that feminine side of him and welcome it in, it was crazy. And then the other... It was the Aboriginal men's group.
That was my path.
That was so cool. Like when we were inside doing the breath, the guys started like it's like they all come together, and they all started like I don't know if you've been around Aboriginal before when they do like singing and dance. They do that brrr, like that. Yeah. So when they were breathing, they were going on that exhale. They were going brrr, like all of them. They all started, man. It was so insane. I was just it gave me goosebumps, man. I remember I walked outside and I said to them, I said, you need to come in here
That was F that one. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It was insane.
That was
It was insane.
That's the same. That were the 6 blokes that were like at the back there. They were
Yeah.
all in sync. It
In
was,
sync, man.
yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was probably the most powerful day
Yeah.
from 3-4 years I've been doing it in person stuff. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And when you do look at Indigenous culture too, you know, they've kind of done this sort of stuff for
They have, yeah,
thousands of years. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
you know,
Part of their culture.
Well,
you
a
know.
lot of cultures have actually
Yeah,
done
true,
this except
true.
for our culture. Really.
Well, yeah, that's what we're going to get into here. But you know, that's where this was born. Was before it become westernized. You know, like every culture has used breath as a type of medicine. So, so like we said, pretty much we're going to give our own experiences, like of facilitating the breath, but then also we're going to go through a psychiatrist's point of view and research, and give you a bit more understanding about how the breath works and what it's supposed to do and how it works and the results that you get from it as well. So before we start, if you drop down into the comments or the link down below or whatever, we'll drop the link to the research study as well. So I'm not going to go through it all because we'll be here till 11 o'clock tonight. But I just been reading up on it from writing the book, and I've taken out some really cool excerpts of the research papers. So this gentleman, his name is Stan Grof. He is a Czech-born psychiatrist. He's 91. Funnily enough, I did reach out to him to do a podcast. Politely said, fuck no. But he was just like, he pretty much, his words were, look, I'm about to pass. I don't want to do podcasts. I was just like, fair enough.
that's cool, dude.
Fair enough. So I did try.
No.
But anyway, he's been living in the United States since the 1960s, and Grof is one of the principal developers of transpersonal psychology and research into the use of non-ordinary states of consciousness for purposes of psychological healing, deep self-exploration, and obtaining growth and insights into the human psyche. So breath work goes hand in hand with pretty much what he's exploring. So intentional hyperventilation, holotropic breathwork, these are the phrases that we'll be using. So it simply means faster breathing. You can put some type of evocative music on. When we do it, it is evocative, but it's not the main piece that we use. The breath is the main piece that we use.
What I've noticed too is how we've changed music to just that one song that just goes for ages.
Yeah.
I remember when we first started, it was like you would pick the songs and you'd never like when you're in the moment you actually don't pay attention to the songs, but then once you hear them after, you're like, oh, that come on when that came on.
Yes, yeah. So like with the music, I think you would probably be able to tell if it was there, if obviously louder, but if it was someone actually playing the music in person. So like I've done a breath session before where someone's walking around with a big drum and like drumming people. That sounds a bit weird, but you know what I mean? Like walking around, and that's where that music starts to really, really take over. So it's supposed to induce intense holotropic states of consciousness. It uses the remarkable healing and transformative power. And this method provides access to biographical, perinatal, and transpersonal domains of the unconscious, and thus deep psycho-spiritual roots of emotional and psychomatic disorders. That's the...
I'm just going to say, I'm so glad you're reading this.
Bro lost a spelling bee, so...
Yeah, fucking hell. I don't want to talk about it. So the basic principles of holotropic breathwork represents discovery, validation, and modern reformulation of ancient wisdom, as we were speaking about before. So something that we were touching on, this type of breath has been around for years and years. Like I couldn't even tell you how long this has been around for. But the point is, when it's become westernized, breathing has lost its sacred meaning and was stripped of its connection to the psyche and spirit, as these results have found here. So meaning that when we talk about breathing, especially to people who haven't experienced it before, all we're thinking about is legit unconscious breathing. That's the only thing that people think of it. You're a prime example of how you can use nasal breathing when you're training. Intentional breath, intentional hyperventilation can also put you into a different state.
Well, it's like speaking about experiences with it. So I remember that when I first started, like I think I could drop a lot more into it because I wasn't so much more self-aware or something. I don't know. But the more I do it now, I feel a bit more in control with it.
Yep.
And I think because I do it a bit and like use it in different different ways, not so much the way we do it in the events, but I use it different ways, and like use it a lot for training as well, like the nasal breathing and like all the different types of breaths you can use. And it's crazy how much it's like helped with my nervous system, even though it's not so much to calm your nervous system, I guess.
This type of breath, it's it's spiking your nervous system to get you into a different state. But
Yeah.
even I think it does go alongside with your training, obviously, because you're not trying to get into a restful state when you're training anyway.
My idea of training is if I'm doing something so intense, I want to be able to try and stay as calm as I can.
Yeah.
So when I was doing my run last, I was with Sarah and she was just like, do you just want to put some music on because we're starting to feel the pain? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to put some classical on. She like looked at me and was like, what, why? And I was like, to stay calm. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, you think about it. We're doing something pretty intense. And then if you put on like trap music or rock or whatever you want to listen to, because it's so up pace, your heart rate's going to get higher and you're going to burn out a lot quicker. But if I just stay calm in my mind, it's just listen to classical music, which I actually start to like.
I
But it's
fucking
like-
told you. How beautiful is it?
Yeah. So
It is great.
like, whilst controlling my breath, I'm controlling my mind, and my heart rate is low, and my nervous system is just calm.
Well, see, it's interesting. I really wanted to kind of, I'll grill you after this about that sort of breath work, how you do your training, because I say and I wouldn't say on the flip side with us though, like with powerlifting, when you brace, like you're sucking in a lot. Like we usually either nasal if you can undo it or through about to brace, and you suck in a lot of air, and you are not breathing for that rep, which could take 10 seconds or longer, whatever it is, so long you hold that breath. But afterwards, like I'm talking like my heart rate will get over 200 more when I do that 1 rep max. Like you are in an absolute state of flight, which you have to be fight so you get the lift. But afterwards, you know, when you come back and trying to calm yourself back down, like you say, your nervous system's absolutely fucking fried from attempting that lift, and you're like, like you are in absolute like in a state. But using those techniques, like you talk about, man, like in that nasal breathing, like calming yourself back down, because you need to take those, especially in our trainings, to take that opportunity to calm your nervous system as much as you can to then get yourself ready to do another attempt that's going to put yourself back into that state of absolute fight or flight.
So yeah, the cool thing too is like with this breathing stuff is any situation that I now see that's potentially could be like a high stressful moment for someone else isn't so much stressful for me anymore. Like, I'm aware that it's probably something that's pretty stressful for someone, but like because I'm so controlled with my heart rate, my temper doesn't go high. I don't crumble under pressure. Like unless I got to record a video and talk in front of it. But I've just noticed how I used to be before focusing on breath, and then how I am now in so many different areas. And that's why I like to push it so much to people and like to understand it is how much it can benefit your life in so many different areas. Like me mate Tyson, he's just like, he goes, I'm 32 years old and I did not know how to use my own breath. And he's like, it's the first thing you do when you come out of, when you're born. You know?
Yeah, and if no one has seen it happen in action, pay attention to your next footy game and watch what happens when the players score a try. Just watch out.
Yeah, definitely the big one I'll say is watch the All Blacks.
Yeah,
Watch the All Blacks, what they do.
But to be fair, that hasn't been around for long.
No.
They haven't done that for long, right? Like they haven't done that for long. So like just pay attention to when a team scores and they've gotten their kicker to go kick the goal. Everyone else gets around the huddle and the trainer's walking them through probably a 2-minute breath sequence, bring their nervous system back down to then go again. That's the whole point.
Well, another thing too is when people get in the ice bath, the idea is we do try to slow the breathing down, slow the heart rate down. But when they get out, and this is what I started noticing with myself when I was doing a lot of ice baths, I'd get out and I'd be like, ooh, and I'd be freezing, and then I'd try and wrap myself up and get warm, and I'm sitting there freezing. Then what I started doing was getting out and just standing there and just going, and just like just stand with it again and just to control it again. And then once you've calmed, like, you know, once you feel calm, you still be cold, but like once you calm down a bit, then start to wrap yourself up, and you just can notice it a lot better as well. Because like, yes, you've just controlled it, but then you get out again, then you spike back up again. Yeah, and that's why people do probably get that that hit of like adrenaline or feeling good, that dopamine or whatever it is. Is because once you get out, you're just like you shock yourself again.
Yeah, exactly right. So if you're coming back to this research, because a lot of people, I think they come to us and say like, why? And then what happens?
Yeah.
So here we go through, I guess, like why, and then after that, I'll get into what are some main things that come up and what happens. So the main piece of Dr. Grof's research was like, okay, if someone's about to jump into a breathwork session, why would they do it, and what do they expect? So, as he says here, many people have a history of emotional deprivation, abandonment, and neglect in infancy and childhood that results in serious frustration of their needs. The only way, by the way, preface of the word, only. The only way to heal this type of trauma is to offer a corrective experience in the form of supportive physical contact in a holotropic state of consciousness. This is one of the biggest things that we've been saying for many, many months now, nearly almost pushing 12 months, is we have to be doing more than speaking about what's been going on for us. And as you know, Dr. Grof has said here, the only way to heal this type of trauma, not one of the ways, the only way. So for this approach to be effective, the individual has to be deeply regressed to the infantile stage of development, meaning going through the breath work and reliving these pieces from infancy. Otherwise, the corrective measure would not reach the developmental level on which the trauma occurred. Depending on circumstances and on previous agreement, this physical support can range. So what he's speaking about now is when you're facilitating, what we can do when they're in that physical state. So if someone is going through something where they feel like they need something from someone and they've gone through that through infancy, this is why when we do it, we place our hands on someone's chest or their forehead or hold their hand. As he says here, depending on circumstances, this physical support can range from simply holding of the hand or touching the forehead or full body contact. So that is one of the main reasons why our team is trained in doing this, is because when you're going through something like a trauma, you want to feel safe. You want to feel like someone's there with you. You want to feel like someone's be able to walk you through it. This is one of the big things that he says is here. Why should reliving of traumatic memories be therapeutic rather than represent a re-traumatization? So the answer that he said was, we are not dealing with an exact replay or repetition of the original traumatic situation. So we're not transporting them back in time to relive that actual certain situation. They are reliving it and watching it again, but with the first full experience of the appropriate emotional, physical reaction to it. So this means that they're going back to view it, but not as an infant. They're going back to view it as the current adult that they are. Yeah. So therefore, it's not going to be re-traumatization. So at the time when they happen, the traumatic events are recorded in the organism, but not fully consciously experienced, processed, and integrated. So meaning if we're going to go back and relive it through the breath work, that means you're able to process it through the organism and release it through your body. So that is the purpose of this type of breath work, is to, you know, being able to give someone an experience to be able to go through their past traumas, relive it, and release it in whatever way, shape, or form that looks like. So the big thing that he says here at the bottom here, he goes, the changes observed in holotropic therapy are not limited to conditions traditionally considered emotional or psychosomatic. In many cases, holotropic breathwork sessions led to traumatic improvement of physical conditions that in medical handbooks are described as organic diseases. So something that people have been saying to people for a long time is diseases have shown that holotropic breathwork can lead to a dramatic improvement into these. Among them was clearing of chronic infections after bioenergetic unblocking open blood circulation in the corresponding areas, which is exactly what breathwork does. So I guess coming off the back end of that, I know you've been through breathwork twice, 3 times, maybe a few times now, but like the major couple times. What do you think was like your main intention going into them, especially the first and the second one? And what was your experiences going through it?
All right. So first one was letting go of an old relationship to be able to move forward into a new one. Mm-hmm. And yes, I won't go too deep into that. But yeah, with that, so what I went through was, that's what I focused on at the start. And then I'm just trying to think of when I can't remember. I remember the second one clear as day.
We'll just go to the second one.
I was with the first one. All I want to do was get through that, but there wasn't so much what I focused on around that relationship. It was like pretty much anything around it. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like it's like a tree. So your main thing that you focus on is in the middle, and then all these little things that are like roots that come out that you end up going around, and then it circles back into that thing that like, there it is. But the second time I did it was probably the most powerfulest I've ever done it. I remember it's like how you're saying, how it's like you go back through your traumas and stuff, but not as who you were then. It's like who you are now. Yeah. And it was literally like a movie. I remember just watching it over and just going through it all. And I remember coming to a space. It was a white space, and there was all my friends and family. There was so many people around me, and it was like I died, and I was getting risen back up to heaven. But no one was sad that I was leaving. It was like they were happy.
Right.
And then once I went up there, I dropped. I remember just dropping back down. Like it was like I hit the ground, and it was like my life just started like ticking really fast. Like the future started happening, and it was like a reel. It was just like going, just like all this stuff just coming, and then it just come to another white space. And this time in this white space, you've read The Alchemist.
Yeah.
So The Alchemist, within it, it's got like how he talks about the gold pyramids. And he's trying to find someone to help him get through what he needs to get through.
Yep.
So what I saw in this white space was 2 gold pyramids. I didn't know who it was, but it ended up being Jacob.
Yeah.
And he was like, it was so like I still remember it. Like he had like this cool like chief outfit on. He had a stick, and there was a fire next to him. Then I was just standing there, and he just goes, he like had his head down. He looks up and he goes, "You ready?" And then just hits the stick, and then I dropped back down from earth or from heaven, and what it turned out to be was it was like I was saying goodbye to my old self. And that's why my family were happy. It was like that person's leaving, and then this new person's here now who's gonna lead.
Yeah.
And then I didn't speak about that to anyone. Like that part after that day, that was a Saturday. On a Monday or a Tuesday, Jacob rings me. I was sitting at home with my ex, and he just sends me a message, and he's just like, "Are you ready?"
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, "What do you mean, am I ready?" He's like, "To start working for Polaris."
Wow.
And I literally started crying, man. And then I told him about this, and he had the same visualization. So like the power in that was just ridiculous. Like
Wow.
it was, It's when I speak that out loud, I still feel the emotion. I feel it all. But then like people are probably listening, just thinking like,
This weird girl shit.
what is this?
Yeah.
But it's like if you look back at it, if people know me from the past of like the person I was, like I wasn't such a and like I actually hung out with 2 of my friends and on Sunday. And one of them was saying, because she used to be friends with one of my exes, and she said that, I'm not saying that you're a bad person, Ty, but like the person you are now is such a better, like, just I couldn't believe how much better you are. She's like, you weren't bad, but you just like, what you are now compared to that is just so different.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you notice that? And I was like, yeah, I do. 100% I do. And it's just like this breath work helped me see the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is where I am now. Like here I am. This is the present thing, and the cool thing with all that, like this is what I saw. Like I saw myself complete the ride.
Do the hero's journey.
Did the run,
Yeah.
but the cool thing. I don't know if I spoke about it. I think I did on my last podcast when it was just me. I saw myself. So when I was doing the ride, I laid under this bridge, and I just wanted to give up and stuff. And I was laying there crying, and I remember saying to myself, like the highest version of me, please come forward and give me the energy and strength I need to get up and just keep going.
Yep.
A year later, I did the run. As I ran past that spot, I looked at that bridge. I just kept running, and I was like, I'm fucking here. Here I am. And I started crying. I was just like, I was so happy that like proud of myself. And then just reassured that like reassured. Yeah. That everything that I saw in that breath work was here. It happened.
Fuck yeah.
So
It's wild, man. Like
it is, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I that's why I wanted to get, especially these top topics that we go over.
Your side.
Yeah, sorry, I just got you twisted. These topics, I want to have that backing to be able to sort of give a bit more understanding about it from that point of view.
Well,
you know,
people probably hearing that are probably it's like you hear when I do speak about little bits of the stuff we do, like guys with like it's like voodoo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like it's kind of like God stuff. Like people just don't believe it, you know what I mean? It's like
well, I think we had this conversation with what we're speaking about at the end. That person that owns that the other day, and we were going through, you know, like I guess breathwork's become a bit more of like a buzzword. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I do breathwork, but it's like, what do you do? You know, like, what do you mean? Like, what type of breathwork is it for this, or is it for this, or do you do this, or are you just talking about, you know, breathing to live? Like, what type of breathwork? You know, but this type of breathwork, man, like, I'm a firm believer. Until you fully experience it yourself, I don't think you're going to fully understand it.
Yeah.
no.
Like, especially for one, viewing someone go through it, but 2, going through it yourself, man, like, you know, I like profound moments for me when I've went through it myself is like, you know, seeing Nan in front of me and like her standing over the top of me, you know, after 6 months after she passed, she was like standing over the top of me, and we pretty much just fucking walked among the stars and seen pop and seen fucking this person and this person, and you know, someone that I was pretty close with at school committed suicide, and seeing him, and I was just like, the fuck is going on? Like, you know, you're in it, but you still have that rational part of your mind that's still there going, what the fuck is going on? But obviously that's why it's so good to be facilitated by it, because then that person will come round, because when you're deep in that moment of going through whatever and you're saying to yourself, what the fuck is going on? And that's when your breath starts to like slow down and like come back to. And that's why one of us or whoever's facilitating the breath work will come around and go, hey, like come back to your breath, let's drive it. And then you drive it again, and you go even further and you explore even further. But yeah, man, like I think that was a firm believer of like, well, as you boys know, it's not like, I wouldn't say I'm not in touch with my emotions. It's more, I find it a lot easier to hear people express about their own personal stuff compared to me go, all right, let me start to explore everything that's going on within myself. I think that was something that was stemmed in for me from young, of like, you know, being an only child, and then obviously having to fucking like pretty much start providing as early as I could, and typical old age generational stuff that you have to work through. But I'm a massive believer of like, if I didn't go through that breath work, I don't think I would have been able to process Nan's passing for a lot longer than what it was, you know, like, you know, she was like the cornerstone pretty much in everything. So, yeah, that was wild.
I think it's a cool thing too to like, when you do it, like for myself, I pretty much dealt with most of my trauma, I think. And then once I come out of it, after like, I think it was maybe 4th or 5th time I've done it, I was like, anything that happens to me now is actually on me. Because now I'm aware of the situations I can put myself in, and where before I wasn't.
Powerful.
So it's
Yeah,
like
I agree with
brings
that.
awareness. Like this breath can do a lot more than you for just that experience where you're there. Like look at all the stuff I've done now, and it's because of that breath.
Yeah, man.
And then now it's like anything that I do is because of my own actions.
Yeah.
So it's like it comes back to being accountable. So it's like this breath can do so much more than just
Big awareness piece.
Yeah.
Big awareness piece.
Yeah.
What about you, bro? How was your big thing? If you want to touch on it, I know it's a pretty big thing for you, but
bro, like I'm just like you, Tay, man. I can't remember my first one, but I know it brought up more than what I was chasing.
Tahi and I remember your first one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Well, that's it. Like,
yeah, you hugged me for ages.
Yeah, it was the one of
Was
the,
it the
that
first one?
that yeah, that was the first one when you when he got the photo with you. That was the second one. The first one is when we got you up at the front of the room and did that unconscious one.
Yeah.
And then the breathwork photo.
You should bring that back.
Huh?
You should bring that back.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it after.
Yeah.
But the photo from yours was when you had your arms spread out on the floor.
Yeah.
Like sprawled out
And he was
everywhere.
bloody 20 kilos lighter.
Yeah.
Well, I do feel that. I feel 100% lighter. Yeah, like I'm with you, like Tay. I can't remember exactly what the first one was about. I know that because I went in there to kind of with the intention of figuring out what is going on for one, and then like two, obviously processing a breakup.
Do you think the first one was more like a way to express your emotion and let go of stuff? Because I know for a fact you let go of a lot of emotion, and I know that I let go of a lot of emotion the first time I did it. I think going into the second time, probably because we now know it can happen.
Yeah.
That's why we remember.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, I remember it because I knew exactly, like, I know what I'm in for, and this is what I wanted to target, which was, it was just like as I was needing to process, a breakup, a very significant breakup. Funny enough, I spoke to her today about that too. I said, we addressed that today, and I need a bit of
Thought you
time.
worked together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's positive, mate. You say, I just go, I needed some time. She said, yeah, I know, that's what you needed. But yeah, that one was pretty powerful, and that's where a lot of the photos are actually getting that get recycled from that one, and that one was pretty incredible. Like going through that, like I visualised a very special moment we shared up in Byron Bay. But as you say, you kind of come back with rational thought.
Yeah.
And my rational thought was like, although I was so happy in this moment, it's not right. It's not right for my life. Like, this isn't the right path. It was literally along a path in Byron. And what I did was turn around and walk the other way. I've got it still on my phone, actually, afterwards. And I walked the other way towards the beach hotel, if anyone's familiar with Byron geography.
Yeah.
I'm very well versed to the beach, I tell you.
Yeah. So as I'm walking down that path, though, my future person sort of She was blonde, blue eyes. Taylor walked and grabbed my hand, and we walked again. Like kept progressing all the way through to the beach. So that was like, yeah, that was pretty powerful. Like saying, well, no, I've made that decision to turn around, walk the other way, go on my own journey, and someone joins, sort of thing. And in a way, it's kind of like you say, Tay, you kind of get into when we're so deep and sure within ourselves that this is who we are, and then that all sort of manifests now. So, yeah, like I say, I got very clear on the second one, and then obviously from there, I did one at the retreat with Allura, Hallowell, and Gene Kelly. That was pretty good. They're great with their breath works, 100%. Like it was really good because they kind of went up and down, a bit undulating. But when they were driving breath, I'll be honest, like I think our breath work, the depth and speed that we do it at was a little bit more aggressive. But for me, being used to that, I needed that, and so I released a lot of probably a lot of anger, a lot of frustration within myself. It was because I couldn't quite drop into the purpose of the retreat. That's what it was. Like I couldn't quite, they said, open your heart to everything. And I just couldn't do it. I could open my mind. I could visualize opening my mind, but I couldn't with my heart. And I was like, fuck, you got to do this. So yeah, a lot of anger and a lot of, there's a lot of yelling, a lot of like sort of smacking on the ground sort of thing. And I may have probably scared the other participants. They're not really used to that sort of stuff, but that's what I could kind of sort of consciously remember. But yeah, it was pretty good. Like, yeah, I found
in a way, you're saying you couldn't open your heart. You kind of are opening your heart because you're letting go of your anger to open up your heart.
Well, that's right. And what I visualized was this it was like a black chamber, and like a hardened sort of fossil heart in a way, and golden light was piercing through with each breath that I drove, going harder and harder. That's what I visualized opening. So you're right. As that anger and all that released, my heart sort of opened up.
Maybe it's not necessarily a fact of like, maybe in the moment it wasn't doing it, but maybe on reflection, now that you have processed that anger, maybe you've gone, yeah, cool. Like that was the catalyst to being able to remove that anger, possibly.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah. And that's the thing, like, there's so many different ways of doing breath work, like fucking so many different ways. But yeah, we've got our own signature way of doing it. It's hard, it's fast. Take that as you will. Yep. But it's it's fucking amazing to fucking witness, that's for sure. What's the timestamp over there, Sunshine?
We're at 54:40.
Sweet. All right, perfect. All right, so let's get into what's upcoming. What's happening for us? So
I'm going to talk to these guys.
Well, how about I do not the boring stuff, but you do the more exciting stuff. I'll do like the.
So do what I'm meant to do, or you go first. Well, I'm so confused.
Well, I'll go first, and then
what boring shit you got?
Well, not boring shit. I'm just saying it's not the more exciting stuff that you're about to say. All right, so this when will this potty be out?
This week.
I don't know. I'm looking at you for.
What day is it?
Today's Friday, so probably Monday. No, I'm gonna put it out Monday. Fuck it. Monday. So this will be out Monday. So this week, shift is opening. I'm sure heaps of you have seen us posting about it. I know it has been over the top posting about it, but that's what happens when you're launching it. Like it's going to be a really, really amazing piece. It's going to be really, really fucking cool. So if you're interested, the link will be in there to apply. You can jump onto a free 40-minute discussion with Maxi over there. Yeah, I think you've had discussions with close to 15 to 20 people now. Pretty full-on amount of people. So if you're interested, it's a free 40-minute discussion to see where you're currently at, where you want to be, and how we can get you there. If that doesn't involve the shift, that's completely okay. At least you've had a free 40-minute discussion to see, what a cool strategy session could be for yourself to get you on the front foot. So that option is there. Like we said, you can jump into the shift after, but it's no obligation. So jump onto that if you want to start, expanding your strategies and see where you're at. Reconnections are making a return in the next couple of weeks. I know we've been saying that for quite a while, but we've just been trying to find a new space, which we have, which you'll explain in a second, but we have. Okay. We're going to start bringing the reconnections back in a couple of weeks, probably towards the back end of this month. So they'll be back. We'll probably drop them once every 6 weeks we usually do. Yeah. So they'll be making a return in 2024. What else we got upcoming? Free events.
Yeah, we need to do the retreat we're going to do
with the 2-day one once again. Finding another date to do that. Free events, and then also Another free thing that we're looking at doing is implementing some workshops at businesses. It could be gyms, it could be your own business, it could be whatever. We just want to get in front of as many people as we can to provide our tools and strategies for mental and emotional health. So if that is you and you'd like for us to come do a 60-minute workshop completely free for you and your members, please let us know. We'll come out and we'll show you how to not only implement it with your staff, but also have those challenging conversations with either your clients, members, friends, families, everything else in between. Tay's got some pretty exciting news. I know this probably would have got announced already, but we'll drop it anyway.
So we have linked up with Cultivate Recovery. So if you haven't heard of them before, they're a big recovery centre. There's a spot in Newcastle and there's a spot in Singleton.
Yes, Singer.
So we're going to be doing breathwork out of both of them. Start on Monday the 5th.
Today with these drops.
Well, today. We'll be starting our first day there.
Yep.
So you can head into their page. You can sign up on there. It'll notify us, and we'll be in there. And
100%.
It's pretty exciting because also with the breath, with like booking us, you can also use the saunas, the ice baths, and the boots and stuff they have there as well.
Yeah, and no extra costs on top of what we offer as well.
So it's all the price for us is also it also includes the saunas, the ice baths, the boots, and the compression stuff. So it's pretty exciting. And also there's something built on top of that which I'm not allowed to speak about yet.
There's another thing there.
That's another thing, but I can't speak about that. But it's pretty exciting. It's starting to now we can we're speaking about doing breath work and the end pieces. So now we're going to be able to start doing them in other places, but a little bit different. But it's pretty exciting. It's I think it's going to be cool for us to grow and to see Cultivate grow because they're pretty much on the same level of us of helping people. And you went in there yesterday for the first time and just how nice it is, and just the people you get in there, the vibes, it's always
they
nice.
crack up. They're so good.
It's, the same type of shit that we're going through that we do. So it's
Yeah.
nice to go to build together.
It's going to be exciting. So, yeah, like Ty was saying, we're going to open it up for 1 day a week to start with.
Yeah, Mondays.
And, Mondays. So we start booking that on a repetitive basis. Then we'll start opening up more days. And then both of us will start getting involved in both places. So, get in, get booked in, come along, get a breathwork off Tahi on Monday. It's a really cocool experience that you can go in and do a breath work, come out of the breath work and go, all right, I'm going to go do an ice bath, sauna, and then jump into the boots. So it's to be completely honest, you're not going to get that anywhere else at this price as well. So jump over there. We're really excited to be partnering up with these guys. We're going to get our owner on for a potty.
Yeah, we're getting Big Dane.
Big Dane's going to come in. He's a legend of a dude. So it'd be really nice to start collaborating with these guys. And like Tahi said, it's going to be. It's yes, it is the next step, and yes, there's heaps of other exciting stuff coming up with these guys, but it allows us to, provide a space for people to be able to do the breath work. Like, as much as we love this office, it's turned into a camera studio, lighting, everything else. It's not really a.
Bro, I've lost my office space. It's
over there.
It's a lounge.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a breathwork friendly spot. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
We'll operate out of here. We'll keep doing our potties out of here. Like we said, if you want to come in here and use the potty studio, there's another link that I'm going to have to drop below. Jesus, you're going to have to remember all this. You can come in, hire the space. Where it's another point of experience that we're starting to bring in forward too. So if you want to come in, get your potty, as you've seen, Maxi will cycle through. There's 3 camera angles that you can have, TV, lighting. But you're unfortunately not going to be on every podcast with everyone. Have your potties all recorded. We look after the editing, live production. We can look after your micro content, thumbnails, uploading, everything else in between. And lastly, I know this is a lot of plugs. We are looking for a full-time podcast editor as well for the amount of stuff that we've got coming in. So let us know if you're keen. It doesn't really need experience, just someone that's keen to learn. I can show you the ropes and show you how to do it all. Just unfortunately, I won't have time to do all of the edits for all the podcasts that we've got coming in. So reach out to us, hit us up in the DMs if this is you and you want to get involved. And we've got a few hours floating around there. So anything for you, bro?
No.
Good? Ready to go in? Cool. Maxi, sweet?
I'm all sweet.
Cool. All right. Well, welcome back to the potty. We're going to be back weekly. That's about it. I got no more plugging. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Peace. Fade to black.